Imagine growing your own food, right at home, even if you only have a tiny space. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not. In fact, a study by the National Gardening Association shows that over 35% of American households are already growing food at home, and more people are turning to this method to live sustainably. Did you know that you could reduce your carbon footprint by up to 50% just by growing your own veggies? That's right. Growing food at home can cut down on the long trips produce makes to get to your plate, saving energy and reducing waste. But what if you live in an apartment or have no garden space? No problem. You can still grow food in small spaces like balconies, windowsills, or even inside your kitchen. In this video, we'll explore how to turn any small space into a productive, sustainable garden. From tiny gardens that pack a punch to growing vertically on your walls, we've got you covered. Stick around to learn how to create a garden that works for you, no matter how little space you have. Chapter 1: Tiny Gardens, Big Impact. The power of micro-farming. Growing food in small spaces can make a massive difference in how we approach sustainability. Micro-farming is all about using compact areas to produce fresh, nutritious food. You don't need acres of land to grow a healthy garden. Even a small windowsill can be transformed into a mini farm. Research shows that 70% of people living in urban areas could reduce food waste and their carbon footprint just by starting small-scale gardening at home. One of the simplest methods is container gardening, where vegetables like lettuce, spinach, and herbs grow well in pots. You can even grow carrots and radishes in deep containers, making the most out of every inch of space. The more you grow, the less you rely on store-bought produce, helping reduce packaging waste and your carbon footprint. What's exciting is how much food a small space can yield. A study by the University of California found that just 1 square meter of garden space can produce up to 10 pounds of vegetables in a season. That's a lot of food for such a tiny area. Plus, growing your own food gives you control over what's in it, so you avoid pesticides and harmful chemicals. If you're just starting, consider growing easy crops like herbs or leafy greens. These thrive in small spaces and offer plenty of harvests in return. Chapter 2: Soil Secrets. Building rich, healthy earth without the chemicals. Healthy soil is the foundation of any successful garden, especially in small spaces. The trick is to build rich, fertile soil without relying on chemicals. Composting is one of the best ways to improve your soil naturally. By recycling kitchen scraps and yard waste, you can create nutrient-rich soil that helps plants thrive. In fact, composting reduces waste and saves money, making it a win-win for both you and the environment. You can also use organic fertilizers like fish emulsion, worm castings, or bone meal to boost soil health. These fertilizers nourish the soil and promote healthy plant growth without the toxic effects of synthetic chemicals. Did you know that healthy soil can hold more water? It helps reduce water runoff, which is vital for sustainable living in urban areas. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, up to 70% of stormwater runoff can be absorbed by healthy soil, reducing the risk of flooding. Another simple but effective technique is mulching. Covering the soil with organic material like straw or leaves helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and add nutrients as it decomposes. You'll spend less time watering and weeding while your plants get all the nutrients they need. Plus, mulch helps maintain a consistent soil temperature, which is especially important for small gardens that might be exposed to temperature fluctuations. Chapter 3: Vertical Farming. Turning walls into green giants. When space is limited, vertical farming is a game changer. By growing upwards instead of outwards, you can maximize every inch of space. Vertical gardening techniques are perfect for small balconies, rooftops, or even apartment walls. One popular method is using vertical planters or wall-mounted racks, which allows you to grow everything from herbs to strawberries. Vertical gardens aren't just space efficient, they also reduce the strain on the environment. According to a report from the National Gardening Association, vertical farming can reduce water usage by up to 90% compared to traditional farming. That's a huge saving, especially in cities where water conservation is crucial. Another benefit of vertical farming is that it encourages plant growth by exposing them to more sunlight, which helps them produce more food in less time. If you're into DIY projects, you can easily make your own vertical garden using recycled materials like old wooden pallets or plastic bottles. You don't have to invest in fancy equipment to grow food vertically. In fact, using what you already have is a sustainable way to build your garden. If you're tight on space, even hanging plants like tomatoes or cucumbers can thrive in a vertical system, turning your balcony into a mini farm. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on sustainable living and gardening. Chapter 4: Self-watering wonders. Let your plants thrive while you rest. Watering can be one of the most time-consuming tasks in gardening, but there's a solution: self-watering systems. These systems can save you time, money, and water while keeping your plants happy. A study by the University of Arizona found that self-watering containers use up to 50% less water than traditional methods, which is great for both your plants and the environment. There are several types of self-watering systems, from simple gravity-fed systems to more advanced drip irrigation setups. One of the easiest ways to get started is by using self-watering pots. These pots have a built-in reservoir that allows the plant to absorb water as needed, keeping the soil consistently moist without overwatering. This system is perfect for people with busy schedules or those who travel frequently. Rainwater harvesting is another great method to water your garden sustainably. By collecting rainwater from your roof or gutters, you can provide your plants with free, non-chlorinated water. Studies show that rainwater harvesting can reduce your household's water bill by up to 40%. With a small rain barrel, you can collect enough water to keep your garden thriving throughout the season. Plus, using rainwater instead of tap water helps conserve a valuable natural resource. Chapter 5: Urban foraging. Finding wild food in your neighborhood. Did you know that you can find free, edible food right in your urban environment? Urban foraging is the practice of gathering wild plants that are safe to eat. You don't need a forest or rural land to forage. Many cities have hidden gems of edible plants growing in parks, vacant lots, or even along sidewalks. According to the American Herbalists Guild, urban foraging has grown in popularity as people seek sustainable ways to source food without relying on traditional grocery stores. Foraging can be a great supplement to your home garden. Plants like dandelions, nettles, and wild garlic are abundant in most areas and offer excellent nutritional value. What's more, foraging helps reduce food waste by using local, naturally growing resources. However, it's important to do your research and learn which plants are safe to eat and where to find them. Foraging also promotes biodiversity by encouraging people to interact with nature in a sustainable way. As urban spaces become more developed, foraging can help bring attention to the importance of preserving green spaces and local ecosystems. Many urban foragers even grow their own wild food plants at home, such as mushrooms or wild herbs, further reducing their dependence on store-bought produce. Chapter 6: Edible landscaping. Turning your yard into a food forest. Edible landscaping is the art of replacing ornamental plants with food-producing ones. By choosing plants that produce fruit, vegetables, or herbs, you can turn any garden into a sustainable food source. Imagine having fruit trees, berry bushes, and herb gardens right in your yard. Food is at your fingertips, and your yard is beautiful at the same time. Food forests are a great example of edible landscaping. This permaculture technique involves creating a multi-layered garden that mimics a natural forest ecosystem. At the top, you have taller fruit trees, and below them, smaller bushes, herbs, and ground covers. The idea is to create a self-sustaining system where each plant supports the others. Research shows that food forests can produce up to 10 times more food per acre than conventional farming methods, making them ideal for small spaces. Even if you don't have a yard, edible landscaping can be done on a small scale with container plants. Urban dwellers can grow herbs like basil, mint, and thyme in pots along their windowsills or balconies, making the most of the limited space they have. Another great option is using edible flowers like nasturtiums or pansies, which add color and flavor to your garden. Edible landscaping isn't just practical, it's a beautiful and fun way to live more sustainably. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for more sustainable living ideas and tips.